Hello, my name is Serena Poon, she, her, and this is my wife.
Melissa Poon, she, her.
We love PAAC. PAAC has been an amazing community for the both of us. And when it started back in 2016, November 2016 election, we were in a place of just really excited because we thought that we were going to get our first female president. We thought as a queer couple we were going to see our rights expand and protected, and then November 2016 happened and it didn't happen the way that we thought it was gonna happen. And at the same time, I was pregnant and we were about to announce, I was about to finish up my first trimester and we were about to announce our pregnancy that we were super excited about, and all of a sudden it felt like things were in flux and that we, as a queer family, creating a queer family, we weren't sure how protected we would be, if our rights would be the same after Trump would be inaugurated, and all these things just felt like the fear just was really creeping in. My friend Clara added me to something called Progressive Asian American Christians Facebook group, and I said, what is this? When she added me, I didn't think much of it. I was just like, okay, another Facebook group somebody's adding me to. But I started seeing the different posts that were the community posts that were being commented on, and the discussion that was happening, some good, some bad, but all really thought-provoking. And I've realized that, like, hey, we're not the only ones feeling this fear, feeling this loss, this huge loss, finding these amazing relationships with people I just, first of all, thought I would have met already in life, and like Liz and Lydia, and these virtual friends who are really quickly becoming some of my really, really great friends that I'm just like, how have I not had you in my life this whole time? A big part of the PAAC and how it's been a community for me is definitely PAAC family, and how that started with just Esther, who was our somebody who we were actually mentoring at the time, just threw out a random post saying, hey, so we're anybody family here? Which was kind of a little jab at, actually, I think us, because we were saying that, using the word family as code to find out if there's other queer folks around it's dated, like
old school.
It's pretty old school, right? And that post turned into a chat, which got unwieldy and turned into a Facebook group and a support group, and also just a place where I found that I was able to not just have faith community, but also be able to do ministry again. So I'm eternally grateful for PAAC and for the mods who create and cultivate that community and that safe space for us and champion, especially queer folks within PAAC. It's been an amazing way for us to grow as a family as well. And so now our child is 3.5. He grew up in PAAC, which I think is an amazing thing.
My involvement started out as being an ally to Serena, really seeing how PAAC was providing this very welcoming and respectful environment for folks who grew up in a sort of evangelical-ish approach and perspective. I really wanted to listen and learn to what that unique experience was and is. And then I just saw that this is also an organization that, true to its sort of organic beginnings, is just so emergent in so many ways. So just like PAAC family emerged pretty quickly, so many different aspects of APIDA Asian American experiences were coming forward, and it was really great to hear just the breadth of experiences that we're all going through in, not only in North America, but across the world. Mm-hmm. I also have really appreciated the in-person meetups. So as virtual relationships would begin, like Serena said, they just really solidified as soon as you met folks in person, which was so unique and really special. And then over time, you know, I also didn't know what aspects of myself I could be sharing in the space. And I was also invited to share around, you know, my profession, which is urban planning. And I thought that was, again, also super emergent and welcoming. So I'm really proud of the organization and want to see where it's going to continue to grow and continue to be more inclusive and brave. So thank you so much, PAAC, for everything that you've done.
Yep, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lydia she, her, and I'm the co-founder of PAAC. I can't believe it's already been 4 years, but it was right around this time in 2016 that I started feeling frustrated about the ways that Christians were supporting Trump. And not only Christians, but Asian American churches seem to be co-opted by the right evangelical thinking. And I knew that there had to be other Asian Americans who thought differently, who wanted other things. And so when I met with Liz Lynn one fateful day, we met up at a cafe in East Bay with her toddler throwing a toy on the floor every 10 seconds, but we didn't even miss a beat. We would pick up the toy and just go back and forth, asking questions and connecting, and it was so delightful to meet another Asian American Christian woman who thought for herself and asked questions. So when she wrote the article, The Loneliness of Progressive Asian American Christians, and plugged in this Facebook group that I had started, in that one day, I believe, we had over 300 people joining the group, and I texted Liz and said, I need your help running this group. And running this group has been a big task. For we found it to be immediately a space that was a very tender space. People who have been isolated or rejected or even kicked out from the church for how they thought, and they've been estranged from their community, that they've been going to that church for a long time, and they found PAAC to be a place that was so unique, and we heard words like an oasis or a safe haven. And so we knew that attending to this community was a very important work. And it took a lot of work because it was an open online space that anybody could join. And at some point, I was on the phone, on Facebook so much that I was getting carpal tunnel, and I even had to wear a brace. So when Gloria and Stella approached us saying that they could help us moderate, we were like, thank God. And since then, them and others along the journey doing the hard work of continuing to moderate the group, continuing to tend and care for this space that has become such a unique place that has built friendships over different time zones, that has been like a church to many people who might not have that kind of a church around them. A place where we've been listening and growing and sharing things with one another. And keeping that beautiful space is a lot of work for the moderators. So I want to invite you to give you a chance to thank our awesome mods for continuing to do the hard work, not only moderating the group, but really creating a culture of this group, making sure that the vulnerable are protected and that we keep this place a safe space. And so your contribution to the MOD Fund will make it possible for us to keep PAAC running and keeping a safe place. So I hope that you will join us and that you will continue to make this a sustainable space that we can continue to have. Thank you for joining us, and let's thank the mods together.
Hi, my name is Liz, she, her, and I accidentally co-founded PAAC with Lydia at the end of 2016. At the time, I was finally able to articulate the tension that I had felt with church for the 10 years prior to that I always felt like I had to choose between churches that mirrored my racial and cultural experiences but were conservative, or churches that reflected my theology and values but were full of white people. And I was in the middle of writing about it when I met Lydia, who I was super excited to meet because she was a fellow progressive Asian American Christian, And I told her about this piece I was writing and how I was going to call it The Loneliness of the Progressive Asian American Christian. And she was like, oh, how funny. I literally just started a group called Progressive Asian American Christians. And I was like, what? What? The election happened after that. And that made me feel even more disillusioned with American evangelical churches. And shortly after that, I finished the piece and I asked Lydia if I could tag her group. And that's how this all started. I expected that the group would make me feel less alone, that I would see all these smiling profile pictures of people who felt the same way as me, and that would be nice. But I had no idea that it would become a community that's been so personally transformative for me. I had no idea that people would come in and bring all of this energy and enthusiasm and immediately want to start talking and processing their experiences and meeting in person and having a conference and learning together and making stuff together. Lydia and I just started the space, but it was really all the people who joined, who came and brought so much energy and pushed it forward, and then inspired us to start new stuff and inspired each other to do the same. And it's been one of the honors of my life to be able to facilitate a space like this. And a key reason why PAAC is a meaningful, fruitful place is because we had a few people early on who volunteered to moderate it. I think at the beginning, I at least was very new to Facebook groups and online community, and Lydia and I kind of thought that the group would regulate itself. And to some degree it did, but at the end of the day, even Facebook groups need leadership to set some guidelines and enforce them in order to protect people who are vulnerable. And we were really lucky that within the first few months after an unpleasant interaction, Gloria Hu sent us a message and offered to help moderate. That was the turning point for PAAC, I think, because without a real moderator, PAAC would have become a cesspool like the rest of the internet. Stella Wan Phelps volunteered a month or so after that, and we've had some amazing people share that responsibility with them. But for the last 3+ years, Gloria and Stella have been constant in terms of keeping an eye on the group, making sure that people are following the rules, but they've also done so much more than that. They don't just make sure that people are following the rules, they also see rule violations as an opportunity for education, and they craft mod notes that challenge us to think differently, that educate us gently about ways that we can be doing things differently in a way that isn't hurtful to other people. When they're not monitoring the group, they have conversations about the direction the group is going in and how they can facilitate the growth and evolution of the group. They've really become leaders of this, and I really can't imagine what PAAC would be like without them. It's a thankless job. The group never turns off. Things tend to hit the fan at the worst possible time, and there are a handful of unpleasant conversations and interactions that go along with the territory. But they do this work because they know that it's important, and they know that this is the only place that some people have to be their full selves. Thanks to some amazing people in the group who have asked for ways to compensate the mods for their labor, we've had a PAAC Mod Appreciation Fund for some time now, but we feel like Gloria and Stella should be compensated on a regular basis for the work that they do. So if this space has been meaningful to you, or you appreciate how it's moderated or how different it is from the rest of the internet, please consider donating to this. Thank you so much, PAAC, and thank you so much, Gloria and Stella, for your commitment and for being so freaking good at what you do.